Welcome to Mindful Monday. If you are new here, welcome. We do 10 minutes of EFT tapping. Today we're going to be combining self-concept and specific person affirmations. Now, this doesn't have to be if you know a specific person. Everybody's a specific person, okay? So you can use this for anything, really. And then we're going to move into 10 minutes of gentle breath work, which we'll be watching a YouTube video together because, as I said, I don't lead breath work. Maybe someday. And then after that, we'll continue reading The Power of Now for about 10 minutes. So if you are all set, go ahead, get comfortable, and we will start tapping. So go ahead and start tapping on your karate chop point. Here we go. We are tapping self-concept combined with specific person affirmations. I am open and willing to change the story I hold of myself. So I choose to show respect and compassion to myself. And I am open and willing to change the story I hold of my specific person. So I choose to completely love and accept myself. As well as anyone else connected to this. All this fear of changing the story of me and my specific person. All this worry that I'm wasting my time changing these stories. Can it really be that simple? Whatever I am feeling is valid. And I allow myself to process it all now. Because the truth is, it can be that simple if I let it be. So I allow this process to be simple and easy for me. And I am ready to consistently tell this new story. I know I am enough. So of course my specific person knows I am enough too. I know I love myself unconditionally. So of course my specific person loves me unconditionally too. I know I am emotionally available. So of course my specific person is emotionally available too. I know I am lovable. So of course my specific person is always telling me how much they love me. I know I am a great communicator. So, of course, my specific person is always communicating with me. I know I am the priority. So, of course, my specific person prioritizes me. I know I am wanted. So, of course, my specific person wants me. I know nothing and no one compares to me. So, of course, my specific person always chooses me. I know I am so easy to commit to. So, of course, my specific person commits to me. I know I am magnetizing. So, of course, my specific person is drawn to me. I know I am perfect just as I am. So, of course, my specific person knows I am perfect just as I am too. Everything I want manifests instantly, easily, and effortlessly for me. And I now know and feel the truth of this all. Mind, body, and soul. Then go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if you have water nearby, grab a drink of water. All right, we are going to venture on in Mindful Monday and we're going to move on to reading. So I'm going to read The Power of Now for about 10 minutes. We're starting chapter 4 today. So chapter 4 is called Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now. Loss of now, the core delusion. Even if I completely accept that ultimately time is an illusion, what difference is that going to make in my life? I still have to live in a world that is completely dominated by time. Intellectual agreement is just another belief and won't make much difference to your life. To realize this truth, you need to live it. When every cell of your body is so present that it feels vibrant with life, And when you can feel that life every moment as the joy of being, then it can be said that you are free of time. But I still have to pay the bills tomorrow, and I'm still going to grow old and die just like everybody else. So how can I ever say that I am free of time? Tomorrow's bills are not the problem. The dissolution of the physical body is not a problem. Loss of now is the problem, or rather, the core delusion that turns a mere situation, event, or emotion into a personal problem and into suffering. Loss of now is loss of being. To be free of time is to be free of the psychological need of past for your identity and future for your fulfillment. It represents the most profound transformation of consciousness that you can imagine. In some rare cases, this shift in consciousness happens dramatically and radically once and for all. When it does, it usually comes about through total surrender in the midst of intense suffering. Most people, however, have to work at it. When you have had your first few glimpses of the timeless state of consciousness, you begin to move back and forth between the dimensions of time and presence. First, you become aware of just how rarely your attention is truly in the now. But to know that you are not present is a great success. That knowing is presence. Even if initially it only lasts for a couple of seconds of clock time before it is lost again. Then, with increasing frequency, you choose to have the focus of your consciousness in the present moment rather than in the past or future. And whenever you realize that you had lost the now, you are able to stay in it not just for a couple of seconds, but for longer periods as perceived from the external perspective of clock time. So before you are firmly established in the state of presence, which is to say before you are fully conscious, you shift back and forth for a while between consciousness and unconsciousness, between the state of presence and the state of mind identification. You lose the now and you return to it again and again. Eventually, presence becomes your predominant state. For most people, presence is experienced either never at all or only accidentally and briefly on rare occasions without being recognized for what it is. Most humans alternate not between consciousness and unconsciousness, but only between different levels of unconsciousness. Ordinary unconsciousness and deep unconsciousness. What do you mean by different levels of unconsciousness? As you probably know, in sleep you constantly move between the phases of dreamless sleep and the dream state. Similarly, in wakefulness, most people only shift between ordinary unconsciousness and deep unconsciousness. What I call ordinary unconsciousness means being identified with your thought processes and emotions, your reactions, desires, and aversions. It is most people's normal state. In that state, you are run by the egoic mind, and you are unaware of being. It is a state not of acute pain or unhappiness, but of an almost continuous low level of unease, discontent, boredom, or nervousness, a kind of background static. You may not realize this because it is so much a part of normal living, just as you are not aware of a continuous low background noise, such as the hum of an air conditioner, until it stops. When it suddenly does stop, there is a sense of relief. Many people use alcohol, drugs, sex, food, work, television, or even shopping as anesthetics in an unconscious attempt to remove the basic unease. When this happens, an activity that might be very enjoyable if used in moderation becomes imbued with a compulsive or addictive quality, and all that is ever achieved through it is extremely short-lived symptom relief. The unease of ordinary unconsciousness turns into the pain of deep unconsciousness, a state of more acute and more obvious suffering or unhappiness. When things go wrong, when the ego is threatened or there is a major challenge, threat, or loss, real or imagined in your life situation or conflict in a relationship. It is an intensified version of ordinary unconsciousness, different from it not in kind, but in degree. In ordinary unconsciousness, habitual resistance to or denial of what is creates the unease and discontent that most people accept as normal living. When this resistance becomes intensified through some challenge or threat to the ego, it brings up intense negativity such as anger, acute fear, aggression, depression, and so on. Deep unconsciousness often means that the pain body has been triggered and that you have become identified with it. Physical violence would be impossible without deep unconsciousness. It can also occur easily whenever and wherever a crowd of people or even an entire nation generates a negative collective energy field. The best indicator of your level of consciousness is how you deal with life's challenges when they come. Through those challenges, an already unconscious person tends to become more deeply unconscious, and a conscious person more intensely conscious. You can use a challenge to awaken you, or you can allow it to pull you into even deeper sleep. The dream of ordinary unconsciousness then turns into a nightmare. If you cannot be present even in normal circumstances, such as when you are sitting alone in a room, walking in the woods, or listening to someone, then you certainly won't be able to stay conscious when something goes wrong or you are faced with difficult people or situations, with loss or the threat of loss. You will be taken over by a reaction, which ultimately is always some form of fear, and pulled into deep unconsciousness. Those challenges are your tests. Only the way in which you deal with them will show you and others where you are at as far as your state of consciousness is concerned, not how long you can sit with your eyes closed or what visions you see. So it is essential to bring more consciousness into your life in ordinary situations when everything is going relatively smoothly. In this way, you grow in presence power. It generates an energy field in you and around you of a high vibrational frequency. No unconsciousness, no negativity, no discord or violence can enter that field and survive, just as darkness cannot survive in the presence of light. When you learn to be the witness of your thoughts and emotions, which is an essential part of being present, you may be surprised when you first become aware of the background static of ordinary unconsciousness and realize how rarely, if ever, you are truly at ease within yourself. On the level of your thinking, you will find a great deal of resistance in the form of judgment, discontent, and mental projection away from the now. On the emotional level, there will be an undercurrent of unease, tension, boredom, or nervousness. Both are aspects of the mind in its habitual resistance mode. And we will stop there for today. All right. So I'm going to pull a mindful message to end Mindful Monday for today. Take what resonates. You can leave the rest. Need to know for today. What can we take with us today? Popped right out. Well, isn't that fitting? Conscious focus is what the card says. And it says, what I focus on, I attract more of. Starting with today, I will be more conscious of what I choose to spend time speaking or thinking of. I will do more of the things that bring me joy and see as more of these things begin to effortlessly flow into my life. And that will round out Mindful Monday for today. So thank you for joining me.